Hey there, friends. Welcome to episode 438 of Better Than Before Breast Cancer. I'm really excited to bring this episode to you today. You know, something I've been thinking about a lot lately, since this is one of my favorite times of the year to shop, and it's really my only favorite time of the year to shop. But some of the things that I'm very conscious about when I'm shopping are quality of the product and really what a company stands for. And I know that, we all like to get nice things. And I think that we deserve nice things. And I think that wearing nice, pretty fashion helps us to feel good about ourselves. And so I thought I want to highlight some of the amazing things that other cancer survivors are doing, that other companies who are designing clothes and or products with cancer survivors and thrivers in mind, meaning our needs and sensitivities as well. And I want to highlight some of them so that you have an understanding of what these companies, that they even exist, first of all, what they're doing and why they might be beneficial for you. And especially as we go into shopping season and the holidays, it might get you some great gift ideas, and we can support other people in our community and especially small businesses. So back in September, I was hosting my in-person retreat, and one of my clients showed up, and she was wearing this stunning gold hoodie. The color was so gorgeous. The fabric was so soft. It was just adorable. The styling was really cute. And I fell in love with it, got the link, and then bought it, right away. And I started to look into this company, and I loved the company. I loved what the company represented. I loved how they were putting their message into the world. And I reached out to the CEO and founder, Paloma Soledad, and asked her to come and talk about her company, Luxcare Clothing, on the show. And she did. So we had a great conversation that includes not only Paloma's own story of how she survived stage 4 cancer 3 times, but also what led her to creating this business and creating a brand that keeps the needs of other women going through cancer treatment and recovering from cancer treatment in mind. So let me tell you a little bit about Paloma, a little bit about Luxcare, and we're going to jump right into it because I think you're going to love this conversation. So Paloma Soledad, as I said, is the CEO and founder of Luxcare Clothing. This is a brand that was born from lived experience and from a real desire to redefine what dressing through illness can feel like. And we all know that dressing ourselves through illness and surgeries that reshape our body can be challenging. Paloma is a 3-time stage 4 cancer survivor, and she transformed her personal journey through treatment into a vision for fashion that supports both the body and the spirit. Her career actually began in costume and fashion design with highlights including films such as Caroline. She's received the Best Emerging Designer Award at Portland Fashion Week. And she's been featured in Entertainment Weekly, Spin Magazine, La Official, and even on Times Square billboards. She was raised in Hawaii, and that shaped a really deep respect for the planet's resources. She's championed sustainable, slow fashion long before that was an industry standard. And under Paloma's direction, Luxcare has grown into this brand that serves hospital boutiques, wellness retailers, and gift givers also. She builds partnerships with leading cancer nonprofits, and she fosters a new category of luxury wellness fashion. Her work was driven by a belief that no one should have to sacrifice beauty or self-expression to be comfortable during treatment. Beyond the studio, Paloma is an advocate for cancer awareness. She's a dedicated gardener, wild mushroom hunter, and a lifelong creative, weaving artistry and purpose into everything she does. You're going to love listening to Paloma. You're going to love hearing how she's created this brand for patients and survivors and thrivers. And I can't wait for you to get to meet and understand all of the work she puts into just even selecting, crafting these pieces by hand and in small batches, and doing third-party testing to certify their softness, their breathability, and their sun safety, and even how they protect sensitive skin. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Paloma. Welcome, Paloma. Thanks for making the time to be here with me today on the show. So,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, it's a pleasure. So I came across, of course, I did a little intro, but I want to hear your story. And I think it's just so important for everybody to share their stories, especially because, you had multiple stage 4 diagnoses.
Yeah.
And I think so many times in the world, people hear stage 4 cancer and just think it's a death sentence. And yet, there are those of us who are out here thriving and doing business and building lives and living. And I think that that story needs to be shared. So let's start off with you. And if you would share your story with us, I'd love to hear it. And what brought you around to creating this clothing line, and what's everything that you've been through?
Okay. Those are a lot of questions,
Lots of
and I
questions.
am excited to get to share this with you. So I've always been a seamstress, a fashion designer, costume designer. So that just came naturally to me. The cancer also came naturally, I guess. I've had moles all over my body, taken off my whole
Mhm.
life. I never thought it was any kind of thing to worry about. I had a mole on the sole of my foot. I had it biopsied. It was benign. A couple years later, it came back. There was a wart kind of growing out of it. At that point, it was already metastasized. So luckily, I was referred to an incredible melanoma specialist at Sloan Kettering, Dr. Daniel Coit.
Mhm.
And over trying like a huge, long story, it was 5 years. It came back twice. It
Okay.
went from my thigh, where it had metastasized, then into my abdomen, then into my liver and lungs.
Wow.
With it was called, or it is called, acral melanoma, which is a very, very rare form of melanoma. They don't know how it occurs. It's not from the sun necessarily. It's what took
Mhm.
Bob Marley's life. And
Okay.
yeah, and it
Okay.
usually happens on your palms, on the soles of your feet, under your fingernails.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah. And so by the time it was in my liver and lungs, uh, I was eligible for an immunotherapy trial because before that it was just surgery, 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 kind of like whack-a-mole. And that type of cancer is not affected by a chemo and a radiation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you said at melanoma, we always associate with sun, right?
Yes.
And here, even you said it's not associated, and it's on the parts of your body that are least exposed to sun, under the fingernails and the soles of the feet and palms of the hands. That's fascinating. Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, who knows how it came, but it was just
Mhm.
like lots of cancers. How do you get it? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so at that point, when it was in the liver and lungs, they couldn't do it surgically. It was too close to my heart. Immunotherapy trial, and it was a real trial. The drugs had been approved by the FDA just a little bit earlier that year.
Okay.
And fortunately, it stopped the cancer. So that was awesome.
Thank God. What
But
year was that?
so that was the first diagnosis, 2015. Then just kind of every year kind of came back. The immunotherapy was 2018.
Okay.
And it, like I said, it stopped the cancer growth.
Uh-huh.
But then it was the side effects. And I had side effects that lasted over 2 years. And
Wow.
because they hadn't seen these side effects before, they were just kind of trying to figure out after the fact what to do. And one
Hmm.
of the most intense side effects was that I had my lymph fluid wasn't draining properly. So I had edema throughout my entire body. Like my
Wow.
eyes were bulging out of my head. I couldn't close my eyes. I couldn't wear
Oh
my
my God.
shoes. My feet were so swollen. And then um, the fluid was filling up my abdomen and my lungs. And the main part
Mhm.
was my lungs. I was drowning in the fluid and they didn't know how to stop it.
Wow. Wow. And she says with a
Yeah.
big smile, she's like,
Well, I mean, the
how did they
alternative.
figure it out?
Um, a lot of trial and error. I mean, at first it
Mhm.
was drugs, steroids, things like
Yeah.
that, that didn't, it would kind of go up and down. And then um, it was like my body was mimicking dying of cirrhosis of the liver and
Wow.
lung cancer at the same time.
Okay.
So I had these like liver doctors and all these different things. So eventually they would be draining the fluid out of me, thinking, oh, you drain it, and then normally it would close up and go
Mhm.
away.
Mhm.
But that wasn't the case. Eventually I had Plerex tubes. So I drained my lungs every day for 17 months. So I lived with these tubes and I would take out up to a quart of fluid. But this was lymph fluid. So that was like where all my nutrients were going. And my body wasn't able to heal because I was
Yeah.
dumping out that fluid. It's crazy, like the long, long story. And then I had something called a Denver shunt, which was a bypass that took the abdomen fluid and put it up through my jugular into my heart, and that really
Wow.
helped.
And that
But
really helped.
yeah.
So, no, so before we started this show, we had technical difficulties, but I see where a lot of your tenacity comes from. And Paloma's like, we're going to hang in here. We're going to figure this out. And
Oh,
you really had to hang in there
yeah.
and figure this out, which had to be so incredibly challenging. I mean, these side effects, when we can't function the way we like to function in day-to-day life, it's mentally just so taxing in addition to the physical suffering. So, do you have no evidence of disease now?
Luckily, at this point, I'm 7 years, so
Awesome.
NED. Um,
Awesome.
so
And
that's always nice.
that's great. Congratulations. And so, was it that experience that led you to creating the Lux clothing line? How did this come about?
Yeah, yeah, um, definitely. And because I would sew and I would make little kind of adaptations for the tubes, my skin would get horrible reactions. I'd have blood blisters from the tape. So, how do
Mhm,
I strap those tubes to my body? How do I keep things hidden? None of my clothing fit me anymore because
mhm,
I had tailored all my clothing to fit me really well. I looked like I was 8 months pregnant. My abdomen was
mhm.
so extended. And I would just stand in my closet and cry, trying to like leave the
Oh,
house.
yeah, yeah,
I'm sure we all cried a lot. Um,
yeah.
but I would wear my friend's old maternity clothing, and I
Mhm,
realized, like, oh, it's so soft and forgiving. What kind of clothing is there for people going through the situations that I'm experiencing, right? It's
yeah.
so not just access for a chemo port.
Mhm,
It was huge sleeves that you could like roll up, right?
mm.
And
Yeah,
get
yeah.
your infusions, super soft fabrics. I had rashes all over my body, so it would be like sustainable fabrics, things
Mhm,
without chemicals, and
mhm,
things that were a little bit more flowy, so you could
mhm.
hide a post-surgical tube or bloating or weight loss. And also the most important thing, because some at one point I was getting a CT scan once a week,
Uh-huh.
was no plastic or metal.
Ah,
So
yeah.
nothing I make will ever have plastic or metal because I want people to be able to reduce that skin anxiety and
Mm,
walk right into it, and you don't have to put on those horrible robes and
mhm.
just feel empowered, cozy, fashionable,
Yeah.
and it makes you feel like you have kind of a secret weapon before you go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And I totally agree with you. So I have a long history in retail and just grew up in retail and I love clothes, right? So when I would go in for my treatments, I always dressed up because I like to dress up, but I also think that that does give you the really nice feeling of I always say we want to look at the future version of ourselves. And the future version of ourselves obviously is going to be someone who's healed. So we don't want to walk around looking sick. And I feel like the experience and the treatment of going through cancer, it takes so much away from us. And we have this need to feel pretty, to feel nice, to feel like we look good. And I think that that lends to that healthy energy. So I love that concept. So tell me more about the sustainability. Like what do you go through and tell me about the clothing line and what you do to keep it sustainable.
Yeah, I like growing up in Hawaii and having little means. I've always been somebody who is aware of um, what we do to the planet, what we do to ourselves. So, of course, the foundation of the business is like sustainable fabrics and sustainable packaging, but also I feel like making a garment that you can wear anywhere, not
Mhm.
just a treatment, becomes sustainable in itself, right? So you're not just buying a shirt for your chemo infusions. You're buying the shirt because it looks cute. You wear it to the beach, you say sun safe, then it's cozy, and you wear it to your infusions. Um,
Mhm.
and it's also about like imprinting those positive memories into garments and then bringing them into your medical situations.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's such a great thought, imprinting that positive into the garments. I love that.
Yeah.
And how is it? Let's talk about being sun safe because we
Okay.
haven't mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. So because of the melanoma, I feel like sun safety is really important for everybody. And there's a lot of sun safety in the melanoma world, but not in like the breast and ovarian cancer. And
Hmm.
I want to really bridge the gap between the two because you're going through other cancers. You're more susceptible to a sunburn. I even heard one of my clients said that she got a sunburn walking from her radiation treatment to the car
Wow.
just in that short amount of time. And you're
Wow.
taking drugs that make you more susceptible. Um, so it's just minimizing that. And
Mm-hmm.
I have all my fabrics independently tested. So once I fall in love with a fabric, I send it to get tested. And that is the main focus of where the brand is going, is adding that layer of protection. So it's skin friendly,
Yeah.
infusion friendly, skin friendly, and eventually everything is going to be tested to be sun safe. So right now,
I love
like
that.
the hoodie, which I'm wearing,
Yeah. Love that hoodie.
yeah, it's super great. And it's like nobody makes a good hood, right?
Uh-huh.
So like a nice big hood for lots of hair, cover your
Yeah.
glasses for the rain. You can take a nap, all those things. But also I garden in mine and I just put it
Yeah.
on. I put the gloves on. I put my garden
Uh-huh.
apron and I don't have to wear sunblock. Like every
Yeah.
single morning, I don't have to slather myself in sunblock when I garden.
Right. Because it's a 50 SPF, that shirt, right?
SPF 50, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And this is so the shirt you're wearing is I had a live retreat in September and one of my clients showed up wearing the gold version. You're wearing that peacock one,
Yeah.
which I absolutely love, which I own now. And she was wearing the gold one. And when she came out, everybody was like, that shirt, everybody just loved that shirt. I'm like, I need to have that shirt. I love it. But yeah, it's super cute. And that's a really good point because it is so sun safe. You don't have to put all the chemicals, and hopefully people are using a natural sunscreen, but you know, they can protect themselves and lessen the amount of chemicals. What is it when you're looking for different fabrics? Like, I think that a lot of people don't understand, and I don't think we're told a lot even when we're in
Yeah,
chemo how sensitive we become to sun. But I don't think people realize the amount of chemicals in fabrics and how that affects us laying on our skin, even if we're dry cleaning our clothes, right?
oh,
And getting
absolutely.
yeah. And I think the worst, like when you use those little balls that they're putting in, I don't know if
Oh,
they put it in washers or dryers now.
yeah.
You cannot get that smell out of clothes. Like it's a forever smell. It's crazy.
Definitely.
So what kind of things should people be aware of and that you're aware of to protect us and have good, healthy fabrics?
Definitely. I mean, like one of my main problems when my skin was so sensitive was wool, right?
Mhm.
And itchy fabrics.
Yeah.
So all my fabrics are really soft, but also they're certified to be chemical free. So that means that the dyes are less harsh. The fabrics, like this one, is made out of, it's called tencel. It's a cedar bark, so it's naturally sun
Oh,
safe. Where
okay.
I think we're not taught that you can get a sunburn through cotton and through
Mm.
linen and through silk. Like those natural fibers that we would want to put on our skin, you can actually get a sunburn through.
Wow.
So it's a can't win, but
Yeah.
maybe you can because sun-safe fabrics are often chemical dipped or
Uh-huh.
synthetic. So
Okay.
I'm trying to find that middle ground where it's soft, it's sustainable, it's chemical free, and you can't get a sunburn through it.
I love it. That is so great. And it's gotta be a lot. I mean, that's gotta be a lot to go through the process of testing and all of that type of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I think it's important to address that, you know, all of that that goes on behind has to be absorbed in the cost of the product too. I think that,
Absolutely.
yeah, as a old school retailer, in this new retail environment where everything is expected to be as cheap as possible, Walmart, Target, this type of stuff, and it's really just throwaway kind of
It is.
fashion. And I think it's really important for people to understand the expense that goes in behind the development and production of something that's such nice quality, that's going to last a long time, right? And that isn't going to make you sick. Like we don't want to get sick from the clothes that we're wearing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And isn't like I up until this point, I've handmade every single garment myself. So
Wow.
there's part of that. Now I'm doing small batch, like these Sunsafe hoodies are small batch in Pennsylvania, right?
Okay.
So sustainability is also about not abusing people in other countries and giving them cancer. Like
Yeah.
I've had people message me and like, oh, how dare you charge so much for your garments?
Mhm.
And it's um there's like a never no, you can't win, right? There's the
Mhm.
budget shoppers, but they don't
Mhm.
know what horrible things are happening to people in other countries, that these
Yeah.
garments are going to end up in landfills. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to be mindful about every single step in that
Yeah. Yeah.
production process. Um, but also, um, sorry, I lost the sauce. We were
It's
talking
okay. It's okay.
we were
Yeah,
talking
talking
about just
about the
like,
the
yeah,
cost of it,
the
right? And
cost
being
of it. Thank
sustainable
you.
and the impact on
Thank
other
you.
people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate you bringing that up as well, because how do you have a luxury-ish, right? Like
Mhm,
um, luxury fashion brand for
mhm,
cancer survivors, thrivers, and patients.
mhm.
It hasn't been done before. So nobody
Right.
can point to it and say, "Oh, I'm making this." I
Yeah.
have to prove that there's a need. I have to show people why it's so important that the products are made well, and that you kind of have to pay a little more for that. And
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
I appreciate the people who do buy my products because they do truly understand. And a lot of the women are survivors and thrivers, and they
Yeah.
appreciate that I'm making pieces for them
Yeah.
because like they've been through hell, and
Yeah.
they're still going through treatments. And I
Mhm,
want
mhm,
them, like they're my North Star, really.
mhm.
It's like these thrivers are just, oh, I love them. Um,
Yeah.
and for them to be able to say, like I have a client in Australia, and
Mhm,
she said, I used to never care about fashion. I would
mhm.
just throw something on. And she said,
Yeah.
now I've lost my hair, I've lost my breast, I'm a thriver, and
Yeah.
I care about fashion. And you're making it easy for me to get excited, to wear something beautiful, to go to treatment. I look forward to going to the treatments because I get to
Mhm.
wear your pieces.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I do this. And
Yeah, that's so
yeah,
beautiful. And it is important. I really do. I think that when we're going through cancer treatment, it's a weird thing. People don't like to talk about money. But it's important because it's expensive to go through cancer treatment, but it's also expensive from a physical cost
yeah,
to not understand what you're putting on your body, right?
yeah,
And I think that when it comes to clothing, that it's important for people to see when it's a quality piece, it's going to last for a long time. And
yes,
honestly, when I was trained by Dr. Nasha Winters, I work with the metabolic approach to cancer. I live with stage 4 cancer. And so toxic burden is a
yeah,
huge thing, right? And again, the skin being so absorbent, taking in everything, we've got to really be mindful of the types of chemicals that we're putting in, on, and around the body. And to take the extra steps that you're taking to test these fabrics and ensure that they're safe for the people whose bodies they're going on is so important. Right. So I think we do get really used to this societal, like cheap fashion, type of thing, which is unfortunate on so many levels, like you just discussed, for the people that it's impacting, both who are wearing it and who are making it. And the idea that more is better, because I think more is not better all the time. Like quality is important.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And I've always made slow fashion even before I was diagnosed with cancer, and I believe in like sustainable pieces that will become a staple for your closet, right?
Yeah.
So you can wear them in multiple ways and forever. And that's
Yeah.
always kind of how I like to shop. I mean, I do love a hand me over and a good like consignment find and things like that.
Uh-huh.
I've
Yeah.
always made like my mom used to make our clothes when I was growing up.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that's just I've always been used to nice clothing
Yeah.
that is worth holding on to. And then fixing, I've always fixed my clothing.
Hmm.
So there's all kinds of practices that can go into keeping a product that lasts, but
Yeah.
that because of that background, I I I only want to make things that last.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so important. What year did you start Lux Clothing?
Well, I had the first idea that was 2020. I was laying in bed before a surgery. Of course, you can't sleep at night and you're just like tossing and turning. And somebody had mentioned like adaptive wear clothing to me. And I
Hmm.
had looked it up and I thought, why isn't there something that encapsulates every single problem? So I was just laying there thinking, what are all the things that I could add to this garment? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then, of course, it was COVID, so it was difficult to start a fashion brand. And
Hmm.
so 2021, I got my LLC, I started everything. And then I came out with my headscarves first,
Hmm.
and then just kind of went from there. But I did a rebrand at the beginning of this year. I changed the name. I really felt like it was like research and development
Hmm.
ever
Hmm.
since I started.
Yeah.
Because who knows if it's gonna work or if people are gonna
Yeah.
like it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And fashion's a tough industry. People don't realize how difficult fashion is to be in, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes.
Definitely.
What I'd love to know is like, again, going back to this, here you were getting ready for a surgery and you get inspired to do this thing. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I deal with so many clients who, after a cancer diagnosis, it's a weird thing. Nobody wants to die, of course. And so there's a tremendous fear of death. But some are so fearful of death that they fail to continue to live. They
Yes.
don't want to take the next step or do the next thing, or and so many are inspired to do something because of this experience, and yet there's this fear of, well, what if cancer comes back? And I know obviously I did that. It was after my first diagnosis of breast cancer that I started going back to begin this business, and after my stage 4 diagnosis I started a new membership. I want to know from you, like, what is that thing? Why here you are of a surgery, stage 4 cancer, what is it that keeps you going and helps you to overcome that fear of what if it comes back?
Um, I I just don't think, I mean, I try to just not think about that. I think it's from just the way I was raised. You just look at the thing ahead of you and you just go to that and you problem solve and you make do and you just try to I think it's the problem solving that I like so much.
Okay.
And like working on feature films, I worked on a movie called Coraline and it's all stop motion. It's these little tiny, tiny things. And I
Uh,
love that. It was problem solving on the spot, little tiny costumes. And that's always what I felt like was I was a puppet that just needed to be fixed. And I was gonna be fixed. And if I wasn't fixed, then I wasn't gonna be here. But I'm not gonna obsess over that middle ground. And by finding workarounds if it was the thing that was going to keep my mind off of the situation at hand, or if it was the solution to the rashes on my body or whatever it was, that's what I
Yeah.
focus on. And so I
Yeah.
think that's what took me through the whole cancer treatment and just kind of made me stay positive. Um,
Hmm.
and then brought the business to life when everybody was telling me nobody wants to buy this. They're just going to get better and they're going to throw the garment away, or who cares, and cut a hole in your pocket for a tube or whatever it was. And I'm like, no, I think it's a good idea and I'm just going to keep doing it. So that's why I've
Yeah.
been doing it for this long. And
Yeah.
in the beginning, I the immunotherapy made it so I couldn't really see well. My
Mhm.
hand shook. So I couldn't do a lot of sewing. So at that point, it was a lot of just thinking and problem solving. What am I going to do when I can?
I
And
love that.
and then after the fact, it's meditation. I just
Hmm.
like I have to have a shout out for meditation because
Really?
I think that that has been the best medicine that isn't, chemistry.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. That has helped me through all of this as an entrepreneur,
Interesting.
as a cancer patient, everything.
So, will you tell me about your meditation practice? Was it something that you started when you were going through treatment or
Yeah,
yeah?
my mom was a meditator, and she tried to teach me how to meditate ever since I was a little kid, and
Okay.
I was just like, I can't figure this out. And then, in my 20s, I tried to meditate. I tried transcendental meditation, and that didn't quite stick. And then I tried some meditation apps during my cancer treatments, and that didn't quite stick. And then uh, I started using an app called Waking Up,
Mhm.
and the way he breaks it down into actionable steps is just the way my problem-solving brain functions.
Ah, okay.
So I just was able to do it. It like an epiphany.
Okay.
And um, it also started helping me listen better and be slower and be more observant and all those things. In that app, you're learning all of that.
Mhm.
And there's great
Okay.
conversations about life and tactics
Yeah.
and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's so great. I love that. I'm just so
mindfulness.
glad you shared that because meditation, I think, is so important. And honestly, people have this idea that meditation means that there's no thinking. And
Yeah.
it's like, and so of course everyone thinks, well, that's impossible. So they don't do it. Right. But it's not about thinking or not thinking as much as just being present and really getting to know your own brain, which is so important. Yeah. I love
Yeah, and
that.
the the tips that I found most helpful for my meditation practice is that you're not doing anything. You're focusing on your senses. So if that means like the colors going with your closed eyes, or all the sounds coming and going, or the sensations going up your body, you're focusing on that. And then the
Hmm.
thoughts come in, and then you go, oh, the thoughts are back.
Yeah.
And then
But
you
that's
just start again. And like that's
yes.
right. That's the motto, start again. And it's like
Yes.
start again in life, start again in your business, start again. Just keep starting again.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
the problem solving, right? Just keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah. Like
Learn
little
from your
Dories,
mistakes.
just keep swimming.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. But it's true. I tell people it's like training a puppy to come back to the puppy pad. Your brain is the puppy and it's going to run off and you just keep bringing it back. And that's
Yes.
really meditation. Just keep reeling it back in. Yeah. And
Yeah.
do you feel so you said it helps you to focus, it helps you to listen. And do you feel like that's been a part of your healing, like this meditation practice?
Yes. I think that it was the combination of the cancer and how like
Hmm.
you walk through that door and it's different, right? You don't go back through
Yeah.
that door, you're just going forward. So
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
those experiences, being close to death, being okay with that. I've also done psychedelics, and I think that really helps that understanding the big picture.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how precious life is, and at the same time, how in the big picture it doesn't matter. You're right. So it's like this cool
Mhm.
combination of everything. I'm also way more into taking my shoes off and walking in the grass or
Yeah.
gardening every morning, growing my
Nice.
own vegetables. I taught myself how to go wild mushroom hunting, just
Nice.
observing and feeling grateful for being alive
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not just like, oh, gratitude. It's really understanding. And I think
Mm.
instead of leaving cancer behind, going like, okay, because I thought like, oh, I'm gonna be done and move on with my life, and it's like, no way. And immersing myself in this world and meeting all of these thrivers and just, oh, they burst my heart open. That makes me go, oh, my hot water's not working. Who cares? Right? You
Yeah.
know, that person didn't call me back. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something and other things will open up, right? When something goes wrong, it's like shift. Something
Yeah.
else will open up.
Right.
And just remembering that the best things that ever happened to me in life were unplanned.
I
Make
love that.
plans and then kind of
Yeah.
go with the flow.
Yeah.
I think
Go.
actually I have this, Bethany there,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
she's on my hang tag.
Read it to me. What does it say?
She's it says, trust the flow of the river of life. It's okay to eddy out when needed. Float on self-care, community, nature, compassion, and you will find the fuel to face the next adventure. You can always choose you can't always choose what happens in life, but you can choose how you react to it. Your greatest challenges may be leading you towards your greatest gifts.
Mm.
She's amazing. Everything she says and how she lives her life kind of inspired me to put these quotes on my hang tag. So when you get my products, they've got quotes from people who I feel are very insightful.
Yeah.
And like at the back, you have your
Little
label.
Luxcare. Uh-huh.
And then on the back of it, for each size is a different quote. So this is Brittany Beatles' quote on the size
I
small,
have to pull my shirt out and look at the quote. I
right?
didn't realize like a fortune cookie.
Yeah, yeah. It's like those tea bags. You get
Yeah.
a little quote on it.
That's yeah,
And I
that's
always thought
right.
that was cool.
That's very
So,
cool. I love it.
uh,
That's a great
um,
touch too. I love that.
and then it'll surprise you one day, right? Because maybe people don't know. And then they can
Yeah.
look and they go, oh,
A
so
little
quote is
inspiration right
from
when they need
somebody
it.
different. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. What a great touch. So before we go, let's talk a little bit about your amazing headscarves
Okay.
and tell me everything about them.
All right. Well, this is a painting behind me. I know it's a little
Hmm.
blurry. I wasn't sure how to change the background, but that is an abstract expressionist oil painting that my partner made. He is the most amazing painter. And
That's beautiful.
so my art scarf, headscarves, are a print
Uh-huh.
of that painting. It comes in four different colors. And this scarf has been tested to be sun safe, UPF 50 plus.
Nice.
So it comes in different styles. Like this one is just the headband. So it's
Uh-huh.
organic cotton, silk, and then it has an internal elastic so that it doesn't come off. But it also has this great little scrunchie here,
Uh-huh.
right? So you can take this end and you can style it in 20 plus ways. There's
Wow.
tutorials on my website. And so you can see like my girl right here,
Super cute.
right?
Yeah.
So she's
Yes.
it's just you don't have to be creative in order to take that long scarf and stick it inside of the scrunchie. And you can
Yeah. What a great
braid
idea.
it, you can twist it, you can pin it, you can do all kinds of things. And then I also have one that is like an Audrey Hepburn kind of
Oh,
Bridget
yeah.
Bardot style. It's an ode to my love of the 60s Hollywood.
Love it.
And that comes pre-sewn like this. but you
Uh-huh.
can also take it and style it in different ways. And then this is my turban version. So there's
Oh,
a
wow.
very complex kind of turban scrunchy beanie in
Yeah.
here that
That is so
gives
cool.
you warmth, but
Mm.
also kind of mimics the fullness of hair. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times when you lose your hair, right, whatever you're given or buy to put on your head gives away the fact that you don't have hair. And then
Right, right.
you're like, I have this
So
girl.
clever. Oh, look at
So you
her.
can take it and you can tie it and you can do different things. And then when you're having a hot flash, you can rip it off. And then you can put it back on and you don't have to be clever. You
Yeah.
don't have to be good at tying or creative. You can just put it on, take it off, and have
Mhm.
minimal
I
stress.
love it.
Yeah.
So clever and so cute. And that's another thing I remember when I was bald, and it's like I thought, I'm kind of glad I'm bald because I feel so bad I don't have the energy to do my hair. So
Yeah,
when you put something like that on and you've already got the little scrunchie to make the styling easy and it looks pretty and it's not going to take a lot of energy because God knows we don't have a lot of energy when we're going through that.
exactly.
Yeah,
And a lot of people aren't wig wearers. And so
right.
there's a lot of turbans out there, there's baseball hats with hair, there's wigs, there's all kinds of things out there, but this fills a void of something a little more luxurious, a little more couture, and with the custom prints, they're all custom prints, and that you can kind of dress up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe you're bald and normally you just wear a baseball hat, but you have to go to
Uh-huh.
a wedding and you don't want to wear a wig. I call it
Yeah.
like the wig alternative. And then you can
Yeah.
wear something a little bit nicer to like
I
go.
love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I think definitely a great wig alternative. I love it.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Yeah, that was beautiful. Is there anything that you want people to know about your company or your brand that we haven't talked about?
Oh gosh. Um, get something now while I'm still hand making it because
Uh,
it's a collector's item.
yeah, you have to
Get
sign
some.
the inside.
Yeah. Oh, I sign it with blood. No, I'm just kidding. Um, it is passion in a physical form. It really is. This is
Yeah.
all I'm doing with my life. This is what I just enjoy it. I'm
Yeah.
figuring out that puzzle, right? Each problem is another puzzle to solve and getting
Hmm.
to connect with people like you, like Bethany, like Brittany. It enriches my
Yeah.
life more than pre-cancer. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Such,
love
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Good. That's so awesome. And I love it. And I just want to say to people, put it on your Christmas list, go to the website, get the handmade products. It is soft, it is beautiful. The colors are stunning. And we deserve to have things on us that help us feel good and feel worthy. We deserve it. And I think that this is another thing when it comes to money and women going through life, but then add the cancer experience because we so often put ourselves last and we deserve nice things. We deserve to
Definitely.
be treated well. We deserve nice things. We deserve to feel good in our things. And so let this be a step in people taking even better care of themselves and give them a little gift of love. I
Yeah.
love it.
And as far as gifts, you gift it to yourself, but you gift it to your loved ones. So
Yes.
it really is a thoughtful and practical gift that makes a difference in people's lives. There's so
Yeah.
many gifts that can be given during a cancer treatment or cancer diagnosis. And I really want to make pieces that, even if they're not custom for each person, it feels like a custom experience from
Yeah.
the unboxing to the tags to giving
Yes.
back, give back to the breasties. I give back to the Melanoma Research Alliance. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's so awesome. So I just want to encourage everyone. Of course, I'm going to put the links to your website, and I want to encourage everybody to shop Luxcare Clothing and to support you and your passion. And just thank you so much for all you do. I love it.
thank you, Laura.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
being
having
here.
me.